We're back on the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base, having spent a great deal of time here over the years promoting this as a military facility and one of the oldest active military installations in the country, and then for the redevelopment. And we're back here again after about a year, Calvin. We were here about a year ago, give or take, when we came out here and did some touring to show the public and our little corner viewers in the North Country just what's happened on the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base. A very active Plattsburgh Air Force Base Redevelopment Corporation has been underway, known as PARC, and with its director and the people who work silently for the most part behind the scenes, this place is growing and expanding, and people in the rest of the country are looking at this facility and say, how are they doing it? Things are looking good on the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base. Dennis Doyle, an old friend of ours, formerly from SUNY Plattsburgh, is now the Public Relations Director for PARC. Den, how you doing?
Doing very well, Gordy.
How's the golf game?
Welcome. The golf game wasn't as good this year as in the past, but I never give up.
Yeah, I know. We never give up. We're back here again. We're going to make a nice little tour to let people know about some of the new businesses and local public service organizations that are on the base. I think you'll be thrilled and delighted at progress we're making out here. This is one of the neatest photographs of all time of that facility, because people, especially those people who haven't had a chance to visit this area in a long time, have never seen that much concrete in one place.
It's quite impressive, and we found that out this summer when PARC hosted our initial open house program in July. We had about nearly 2,000 people came out, and several hundred of those people took the opportunity to go on a tour of the base, and that included a ride along the flight line and the ramp area, and that was a real highlight for most people who had never ever seen it.
That's really, really neat. I've always liked this place anyway, and I'm delighted to see the progress that has been made here. That's why it's important every now and again to let the public know what's going on behind the scenes, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's why I'm here.
This PARC meets on a regular basis. As we're recording this, it's on November 12th, 1999. There will be another board meeting coming up, on Monday?
Board meeting this Monday, every Monday, the third Monday of each month. Unless the day falls on a holiday, and then it goes to the following Monday. But PARC board meetings are every third Monday, every month. They're open to the public. We have moved the venue to 2640 Arizona Avenue, which is now PARC's Conference Center. It's quite impressive. We would love to see more members of the public who are interested in the redevelopment program and what PARC is doing to come out. The meetings are at 8 a.m. It's not the most convenient time for a lot of people, but with business people running PARC as members of the board, that's the most convenient time for them, and that's when we have to convene. But it's wide open. We'd love to see more people out here watching what we're doing.
You know, that's a pretty high-powered group when you start to look down the list of people on that board, and there's a lot of good brain power that goes on in every one of those meetings, isn't there?
It's a very strong board, a very cohesive board, very nonpartisan board. I've gotten to know each member quite well in the 2.5 years that I've been involved with PARC as a part-time member of the staff, by the way. I am supposed to be part-time. I'm finding myself working a little more than usual.
I know how that goes.
Yes, but I've been impressed with the way this board works together. And Dan Winnicky, the CEO now for the past year and a half, has really put together an outstanding team.
You know, everybody who sat in his chair has a different personality, and this guy is truly amazing at how he gets things done. He doesn't stand up with a microphone in front of his face every day. He doesn't always pontificate, but boy, he knows how to do it one-on-one, doesn't he?
Absolutely. He works well with everyone. But that is not to minimize the efforts and the achievements of his predecessors.
Oh, not at all.
You know, they brought PARC a long way, and Dan came in and has had a remarkable success. And I think he will tell you, if you asked him what his strength has been and what his contributions to PARC have been, and he would say team building. And he really has put together an outstanding group of people who work incredibly well together.
Well, as I said at the outset of this program, a lot of people watch what happens here. Because the smooth transition between the activity that we all knew and loved for so many years and what's happening here at Park today doesn't happen all by itself. And other facilities have languished while this one is grown. And it seems like every month we have an amazing new announcement to make to the public. But that doesn't happen all by itself. It takes a strong leadership and a good team to make that work.
And it takes patience.
That too.
It takes a lot of patience. I think if you look at the Pratt and Whitney deal, which is in its final stages now, we expect that it will come together in the very, very near future. It's been more than a year. I think it was a year ago, August, when Pratt and Whitney first came knocking on our door to say maybe we'd be interested in coming to Plattsburgh. So we would encourage the public to give us some breathing room. There is a lot of activity going on around here. The people are working incredibly hard. There are a lot of good prospects out there, and we think that it's going to continue to get better and better.
We don't want to steal his thunder because we will be talking with Dan Winicky later on in our program today, and it just amazes us as outsiders to watch the progress that's made. In the very beginning, by the very nature of the activity of closing such a long-term facility, there's controversy, and there's bound to be controversy along the way. But I notice that the general public, for example, is more and more reading in the paper, watching television, listening to radio news, and saying, I think they're doing things right out there.
Well, I think you're right. It's taken time. It was a huge disappointment when the Air Force left. It left a tremendous void in the community. And I think the community, in some respects, was overly anxious for change and overly anxious for progress to happen. It took a while to get going, and now that the ball is rolling, I think people are noticing and saying, okay, let's see it go.
I can't wait to see what the future is going to bring for the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base. But for those of you who are watching this little television program called Our Little Corner, we think we're going to give you a little cook's tour this morning. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk to the people at Adirondack Kitchen. I've wanted to go and visit them for a long time. Northern Parts and Service, Bright Beginnings Daycare, Select Property Group out of Vancouver and St. Petersburg, Florida, Lake Forest Senior Retirement Community that I've been involved with a little bit as an early spokesman for that campaign, and Family Connections. Oh, what a wonderful organization for the children. And then we're going to talk about Pratt and Whitney at the very end. In the middle, we're going to talk with Dan, right?
Yep, he'll be here by the time we get back from the tour.
Temperatures overnight, for those people who may be watching this several weeks or months down the road, we're a little bit brisk in the North Country. I don't know if I'd want to be out on the golf links today. I couldn't swing a club with that heavy coat of mine on.
The clubs are still in the car, and that shows my eternal optimism. But I know they're going to have to go in the basement pretty soon.
Dennis, thanks so much for your hard work and for inviting us here today. I think we're going to have a good time.
I think so, too. Let's get started.
You got to know wherever Gordy Little is, it's going to be close to where food is served. So that's why we came first to the Adirondack Kitchen. Dave Evans, how are you?
I'm fine.
I'm fine, too, on a cool fall morning. Many, many years ago in the early 1960s, I used to stop, in the days when I smoked way too many cigarettes, I would stop at a little tiny store on Upper Cornelia Street in Plattsburgh called Richard's Grocery. And I met a young woman there who I recognized as very intelligent, and we would have these deep philosophical discussions, and I've remained friendly with her over the years. And maybe about a month ago, I got a telephone call from Marie, and Marie said, you really ought to bring your cameras out there and talk to these people at Adirondack Kitchen. It's such a neat idea and a wonderful place. Guess what?
You're here.
We're here.
Okay.
What is the Adirondack Kitchen?
Okay, the Adirondack Kitchen was originally started under a USDA grant. We're a non-for-profit, and the original, using the term mission, was to where we were going to try and facilitate and establish a better rural development for the food-related businesses in the area. Also to maybe possibly enhance and give the small food processor a chance to develop their products that they couldn't do before. For example, let's say you have Gordy's jams. And it's been a favorite recipe, but you don't have a commercial approved kitchen to do it in. You've always wanted to try it and see if it would work commercially. So what you can do now, you can bring Gordy's jams into the Adirondack kitchen, and you're allowed to rent this, which is of course approved both by the health department, agri-markets, and so forth. And after you've gone through the process of getting the recipe registered, making sure it's shelf stable, we do all that with you. Business plan, help you get started. Then you can come in here, use our kitchen to process it and pay us by the hour. And then we'll try to help you market the product and so forth. If it does become popular, you may even outgrow the kitchen. That's our goal. But we can create jobs this way. We can also do what we call value added. Let's say you do a strawberry jam. Okay, there may be a local farmer that has extra land that he is not using. We can offer him, your jam's taking off, he can grow the strawberries. So we can use, it's called value added. Now this is a very simple analogy, Gordy, but it's just one of the small things to then we can help even produce the jam here and then actually sell in this area. It's sort of like Vermont first tries to do, but here we try the value added and keep it in, sell it in this, of course we'll market it out of the state. But that's one small area. Now a thing that I thought would work real well, there are a lot of people that are not in a position that have the time to do it. So we've set up a co-packing concept here. You're too busy, you're out talking to people on your show. Well, you have maybe a jam, sauce, vinaigrette dressing, or you may own a restaurant, but you're not in a position, you have the commercial kitchen again. What you can do is you can approach us. We have a co-packers that will do your product for you under the price, which means that you don't have to do it, and we do it. We charge, the kitchen use is going to be, you work directly with the co-packer because we're not for profit. We're not in the business to make money. But you can go to that co-packer who will come in here, and your charge will be relatively the same as if you were doing it yourself.
Isn't that an amazing concept? Now, we're here at about 9:15 in the morning. This place will be buzzing a little later?
Not this week, because of a slow week. Now, next week, another area, because we had such a beautiful facility here, we decided there was another area that we could help. There's people that may either been laid off or they're not in a position that they've been able to find positions in areas up here that they want to do, or they may want to go into the food service business. So now we are in a position, we have what we call a very condensed but very comprehensive food service training program. And it runs about 6 weeks, and we cover about 50 to 60 different areas, all the way from even starting out at personal hygiene, going into basic kitchen procedures, inventory control, prep work, sauce work, all kind of different type of things, baking, all the way up into short order and fast food type work, and also front of the house training. So that person can go out and maybe start, in other words, if you own a restaurant, you don't have the time to train people off the street. We try to get this person above the basic level so that it's to his advantage, institutional wise, or even a family restaurant. He can go in and he'll start a career at a higher level than minimum wage.
You know, I'm sure that this information you're saying comes as a tremendous surprise to many of our viewers out there. They're saying, whoa, hey, Mom, you know your Michigan sauce, or, you know.
Yeah. We're covering 8 counties and probably almost up to 12 by the first of the year. So it's not just Clinton. I'm talking on the co-packing. We have people as far away as Syracuse that have approached us to do their co-packing. We work in Herkimer County. We go all over.
You may get busier than you want to be real quick.
Well, we want to help as many people as we can.
What was this building before?
It was the mess hall for the Air Force Base.
I see.
And we also have here that we've brought in over and above, because of the food processing, we have an automatic filler machine. So even if you are a small food processor and maybe you're working with the local, let's say, farmers markets, but you aren't in a position you can produce enough, or you're afraid to go out into the open marketplace because you can't produce the volume you want, that's what we're here for as well. We have an automatic filler, automatic labeler, so that you can do it in much larger volume at a less time that you could ever do it at home, plus the fact you may not be in a position that you're approved.
This sounds like win, 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 win.
You can't lose.
Well, just for 2 seconds here, give me your background. How did you end up from New York City to Plattsburgh, New York?
You mean because I was in Wall Street? My background actually, of course, is not, as I told you earlier when we were sort of just kidding around, don't even let me in your kitchen to make chocolate pudding because I'll burn it. But I have owned motels with food service. So I do know the business outlet. I was trustee of the Royal Inns, so I worked with about 40 properties there. And then I was asked to be a consultant for Condon Foods, and I worked with 80 motel complexes. So I do have a basic food background. But as far as food service, as far as the actual cooking training, I do not.
But it always amazes me how somebody with your background makes that contact and ends up working on the former Air Force Base, running such an amazing, wonderful program.
Well, I was asked to be on the advisory committee when this was just getting off the ground. And next thing I know, I was chairman of the advisory committee.
Those things happen.
And it sort of progressed from there. But we formed our own 501c3, which it was not. I've been with, we just reopened these doors a year ago, so we're pretty happy with what we've done so far.
Oh, that's amazing. Can we look around a little more?
You sure can.
All right. You know, it's amazing when you walk in the doors of the Adirondack Kitchen, it's like entering a fine restaurant. I was blown away when we came in the door. What you've done here is truly wonderful.
Well, we're very happy, and behind us here, we have some of the products. Some of these are actual co-pack where we actually do the packaging for them, and others are where the people do it themselves. And it could be from applesauce, which gets back into that value added, which of course is around here. Here is some maple syrup that is done over from what's called Whiteface Mountain Products. But this lady's involved in her own syrup, but she goes into a barbecue sauce and also a dressing as well. And then, of course, this gentleman here who has a hot sauce, he also has what he calls the moose juice, which is sort of like a Bloody Mary mix. And 2 years ago, he came in second nationally in the spicy. Yeah, he is a client here. Mm-hmm. So this is just a few of the products.
Blueberry, apple, jam.
Here's one.
Pralines, huh?
Don't start these because they're worse than peanuts. You can't stop. They are wonderful. And that's by a local lady that does this.
Before we go a minute farther, I want to have you explain how people can make contact with you if they're excited by this interview.
Okay, they can contact us either, of course, by the Adirondack Kitchen here in Plattsburgh. We're in the phone book. If you're out of the area, we also have a Watts number, toll-free. And we are just downloading, and I'm putting together a web page.
Oh, that's great.
And we are already reserved. It's called AdirondackKitchen.com. It's already registered. I've registered an extreme amount of megabytes so that we can offer. You do not have to be a client. This is something that I've decided could help the area, and the board of directors have been super with it, is what we're doing is if you have, I don't care if you're a chandler or whatever you are, but you make a product, it could be a craft, you can go into our webpage or come to us, and for less than $15 a year going through ours, I can give you a full webpage subfolder to promote your product.
Wow.
Yes.
That's the bargain of the age.
You can't beat it. And even if you already have your own webpage, it still gives you that much more exposure.
I'll be interested in coming back a year from now to hear some of these success stories, because this has got to work.
I
It can't
agree.
fail.
I'm sure it will work.
Oh, that's great. Now I would just want to look over and show people what this is like over here, because how much changing did you have to do when you got here?
Actually, most of this furniture, this was all here when the mess hall was originally started. We have changed a few things, obviously the decor, changed some of the painting and that type of thing. This is where we actually hold some of the front of the house classes. You can see up here we have where we can do this as an erasable board. We also teach front of the house, hostess, register work, things of that type.
Now, how about your staff? How big a staff do you have here?
Well, to be honest, the staff is non-existent. We do all you met the gentleman that helps in the who's the chef, and also the one that teaches. They're all independent contractors.
No kidding.
Yes. So they actually come in here, some are even volunteers. They want to see all this work as far as the training.
I can understand why they want to see it work. It's you know, we talk about the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base as being a tremendous resource. This organization is a fabulous resource. I can understand why anybody would want to see it work.
Right, even the local health department, the county social service, everybody has been working with us. And a gentleman that comes from the health department helps these people learn the basics of maintenance, sanitation, proper storage, and of course health procedures in our training class as well.
I can just picture people buzzing as they watch this interview saying, well, you know, we've got to go down there. We've got to contact these people. Do they talk to you when they call here? How do they, when they make the contact?
Yes, call me. And they can just get me through the kitchen. Of course, we're in the phone book, and if they've got an internet connection, all they have to do is trigger up www.adirondackkitchen.com, and they'll find out some of the information. We haven't got it all downloaded. I've got the homepage half done, but it's got all the information basically about what we do.
I think you've made amazing progress. You only opened for 1 year?
It was 8th of November when we reopened last year.
Well, here we are on the 12th.
That's correct.
Recording, so it's 1 year. You've made amazing progress, and I'm sure people who are watching this are going to be very impressed. But I can't wait to do an update with you later on.
We'll look forward to seeing you back here.
Thank you for inviting us in. The Adirondack Kitchen.
It's been our pleasure. Come back and see us.
You know, imagination is a wonderful thing, and you have to imagine that it also says, welcome, Gordy and Calvin Castine from hometown Cable. We never had a sign waiting for us when we got here. Northern Parts and Service on the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base. Derek Knapp, how are you?
Very good, Gordy.
Thanks for inviting us in here today.
Sure thing. We were glad you could come.
This is amazing. I haven't been in here for a long time. The last time I was in this general area, they were cutting the ribbon for the commissary next door. And I used to pop over to the bowling alley every now and again. Almost everyone viewing this program, I'm sure, had a lot of friends who were stationed or worked on the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base. But guess what? This doesn't look like a bowling alley anymore.
You'd never be able to guess now, coming in here with all the changes and renovations that we've made to the building in terms of turning it into office space and really a warehouse for the 20th century.
You used to be somewhere else.
Yep, over on South Catherine Street, in a building that was maybe about a third the size of this one. And I don't know how we ever managed there, but we did.
As Calvin said off camera, you can't ever go back.
No, I don't think it would all fit over there anymore now. So
you know, it's so interesting for us to make these updated tours every once in a while on this great property just to see what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
A lot of our viewers, I'm sure, have no idea what Northern Parts and Service does, so let's explain.
Okay, well, what we do is we provide service in the local area for restaurant equipment repairs, all sorts of commercial kitchen equipment from convection ovens, slicers, dishwashers, things of that nature. And also a very large part of what we do is we supply the parts to other service companies across the country for those sort of repairs. We're a very large mail order house, a distributor nationwide for commercial kitchen equipment parts.
So what you need more than anything else in an operation like this is lots and lots of space.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's actually room to grow here too. We own about 4 acres here, and if we had to, we could build on additional warehouse space within about 90 to 120 days and be ready to go for any other manufacturers that come along.
Well, this has been a pretty good marriage for you over here.
Absolutely, yeah. PARC has been great. It's allowed us to really build a building that will allow us to expand quite a bit, and that means more jobs out here for local people, and it's great. We have a very bright future out here.
How big a staff?
We've got a staff of 22 people right now. We actually have someone else we just hired who's going to be coming on board within a couple more weeks, and we're going to need additional people over the next 6 to 9 months.
What do you train them, or do you try to hire somebody with some experience? How does that work?
A little bit of both. We try to hire people with good customer service skills, because a lot of what we do is done over the phone. It's a matter of helping out the customer. You have to listen to them, find out what they need, and fill that need.
Let's talk a little bit about you, Derek. How did you, where are you originally from, and how did you get connected with this organization?
I'm originally from Potsdam, New York, just over here. My
I
wife,
guess we know where that is.
my wife is from the local area. She's from Keysville. And we moved back here because we liked the area a lot. I met her and we started coming over here, and I just love this side of the state. I love the mountains and the lake. So we moved back here. And I had originally been working in a feed and farm store over in Canton, New York. And a customer was a relative of Les Miller's, the owner. So I got a good recommendation from him when I applied for a job over here, and that's how I ended up.
It helps to
over
be
here.
connected, right?
Yes,
there?
it does. Absolutely, you got to do that networking. So
And you don't have to commute very far to work. Either,
no,
right?
not anymore. No, not at all. Just about 15 minutes or so. So
It's great to see thriving organizations on the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base. We all had dreams when the Air Force Base was here, and everybody had projections as to what they hope would happen in a few years. But as we've mentioned at the top of this program, and so many other facilities this size and smaller around the country that have closed, they just haven't quite made the grade.
Right.
But thanks to PARC and thanks to organizations like yours that are farsighted enough to make a move like this, this whole thing is going to work.
Oh, yeah,
I know it's
absolutely.
working for you,
Well,
I can tell.
yeah, you can.
We're very happy to be
And
here.
the more you come out here onto the old Air Force Base, you can see the changes happening almost on a monthly basis here. They're really, PARC's done a great job. They were so helpful with us in terms of our move, in terms of doing whatever they could to get us in here, because they knew we had to move quickly because of growth and consolidation in our industry that is forcing us to become larger to survive. And they did everything they could to get us onto the base as quickly as possible. So the people at PARC were just fantastic in terms of their help.
How far do you ship?
We ship all over the country, Florida, California, out to Hawaii, all over. You name a state, and we've sold parts there.
And if it fits in a box, you'll send it to them.
That's exactly right. And even if it doesn't, we'll make it fit.
I
So.
love it. Derek, thanks so much. We're
You're very
going
welcome.
to meet the boss.
Okay. Good to talk to you. Thank you for coming.
We tracked Les Miller down. How are you, Les?
Hey, I'm good.
We're great. Where are we now?
You're now in our shipping and receiving area. This is part of the building that we created from the old bowling alley, which was quite a challenge, really.
I want to know about that. That had to be, how can anybody see what they want to have when they look at a bowling alley?
Well, I guess you need a little bit of vision.
Yeah.
And you met Derek earlier.
Yep.
Okay, Derek is our operations manager, as you know. And so he gave me about 6 months off to go find a new building and create something that Northern needed to grow into. So while he was running our business since last, actually it probably started in January, because that's when I started negotiating with PARC. And Peter Whitbeck was a lot of help to me. Also, it's quite a challenge, just the negotiation phase, because you're dealing with the federal government yet. You're dealing with Clinton County Industrial Development. But with the help of some good professionals, we signed a lease the 5th of May. The 10th of May, my contractors came in, and our own people did a lot of the work. We did the plumbing and the electrical, and then Tom LeBombard was my design engineer. He was formerly the chief engineer here on the base, so he knew the building quite well.
That's a pretty sneaky way to go about it, huh?
Well,
that's great.
You go with the people who have the knowledge.
Oh, that's wonderful.
One of the ways that PARC is able to help somebody out here is they have tremendous plans as this building was built. So you start with their plans. We came in and, of course, the ceiling in a bowling alley drops down. So we got the lanes removed and we tore out the old HVAC. We literally took the building back to the walls, keeping the ventilation system that was for the snack bar, because we now use that as a training facility for technicians who, we've already had one service school here where we had more than 20 technicians from all over the Northeast training on a new piece of well-built equipment that goes into McDonald's and Burger King's, a clamshell grill. So that's part of our mission too, is to train service technicians in about a 6-state area. We then are the master parts distributor for that area, stocking an inventory, and in a few minutes I'll show you our warehouse. At this point we have over $1 million inventory here in Plattsburgh. I like to say that UPS is one of the hardest workers in this business. Deliver here early in the morning and are back here late in the day, and about 15% of what we sell is shipped next day air. People need the part and we have it.
That's an amazing, and you have that reputation to uphold, so you have to do it the best way you can.
Yeah.
Right?
The other thing, and Derek may have already mentioned it to you, but our industry is consolidating very quickly. Much what you see happening, it started first in banking and another. We're going from about 70 manufacturers down to 3 or 4 holding companies, which are going to own all of these smaller manufacturers. We represent the complete well-built group. They presently have 80 distributors. It's their intention to have no more than 10 regional parts warehouses within 24 months. When I found that out, I realized that we needed to move quickly, and just to handle it, it was either grow or possibly we would be eliminated. And
Well, that's that's the way the farmers talk. It's either grow or go out of business. You can't survive on a farm milking 25 or 30 cows anymore. They're now into the hundreds and 900, 1,000. So you have to grow.
I grew up on one of those 35 cow farms, so I guess I know what you mean.
Did you really? Where?
Yes, Fort Covington.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Oh, don't get me started. See, I like to
you know-
digress, and I can remember playing football in Fort Covington 100,000 years ago and drinking what we used to call egg water in the high school. It tasted so bad, it was sulfur water. So I played football there, and I could never get a drink till we got back home again.
Yeah, you're right, there was sulfur water
Every
there.
time I drive through Fort Covington, I look in that open field on the right-hand side where the old school was located. So that's where you were brought up.
That's where I grew up, and we had a family farm there, and perhaps that's where I learned part of my work ethic.
Isn't that amazing? And that's very important, because as we're driving over here, Dennis Doyle in the van, we're talking about quality of life. It's a favorite phrase of ours, but it's also a great marketing tool, because when it comes to quality of life, we've got it here. And part of it is that work ethic.
Yes, you're right, and that's, I think, the thing that probably has made Northern successful is that we do not have a large turnover of employees. I have a few competitors in major cities, and their biggest problem is people coming and going, people coming and going. It takes up to 2 years for somebody to really learn what our job is about, and because we represent so many different lines of equipment. And so we do everything we can to keep employees here. We're providing full family health insurance paid by the employer.
That's kind
We've
of
also
amazing all
had-
by itself.
We've also had since 1980, a profit-sharing plan in place that we have funded to the max since 1980, and I'm quite proud of that. And it's a help to our employees who spent their lifetime here. Will have their retirement pretty well
Watch
taken
out,
care
You're
of.
going to have a line about 3 miles long in the parking lot of people who want to apply for a job here.
Well, I'll tell you, we're growing. This company, I expect that we will double our volume in the next 36 months. And I see Derek interviewing almost on a weekly basis, so I know that he's still looking for some good employees.
Now, you talked about vision a long time ago, and I think you've got it, Les. I want to know, before we go, precisely what the relationship is with these manufacturers, and how is it that you have this operation working here and distributing all over the country? Just give us a basic idea how the business
Okay,
works.
we started in 1976 as a small service company. I had sold restaurant supplies and equipment for about 9 years previous to that. And there was no service here. The service either came out of Syracuse, New York, or Albany.
True.
So in the early days, I found a partner who was a technician, and we decided to take the gamble and win the service business. Luckily, within weeks of our going in business, there was an announcement that there was going to be something called the 1980 Winter Olympics.
Oh, seem to remember those. I had a
And,
toucan from the Olympics yesterday.
We we were able to pick up a lot of lines as factory distributors because of the national publicity of that, which gave us a start. Also, there was tremendous growth here. I also, as it ended up, had the contract to provide service for the Olympic Committee in all of their venues in 1980. Hired some additional staff, and we did a good job for them. And that's what helped to build our reputation. Well, after the Olympics, as you know, things kind of went down a little bit. I had all these parts and all these manufacturers that I could do business with, and a whole bunch of trees up here. So decided to get 800 line service, started offering deep discounts of parts to anyone who wanted to purchase them throughout the country, and kind of the rest is history. I have a friend of mine who refers to us as the Walmart of food equipment parts.
I love it.
Everyday low prices.
Not bad company.
No, it isn't. Yeah, just wish I was their size. I'd like to show you one thing. I'd like to take you out and show you the warehouse for a second, if you have time.
We would be delighted to go and look at it, Les.
Great.
All right, I know we're in a warehouse. I can tell that much.
Yes, you are. And this is the lower warehouse. We also have a whole second story here. As I started the demolition in this building, I realized that I was going to need yet more space. So I ended up going to Larry Jeffers Steel.
Oh, yeah.
And Larry did the engineering of a second floor. You see the steel columns here and the beams. Well, my own contractor and our staff erected the steel. I'd never done that before, but it was a great learning experience. And put in the bar joists, put in the poured concrete, shot that in through it with a pump, and created another 7,200 square feet of second-story free-span space, which provides us the opportunity to grow even more. Then, as we progressed along, realized that the only way we were going to move 21,000 different parts boxes, and that's what this business is all about, is small parts for food equipment, was to have the shelving in place first. So shelving is very expensive. Searched around, found that a Montgomery Ward's distribution center in Clifton Park had gone out of business. So we went down and we bought out all the shelving, tore it down, palletized it, shrink wrapped it, contracted with Esposito's to bring it up here and park a trailer. And then my own staff spent about 2.5 weeks erecting all this shelving. And then September 3rd, we closed for one business day. And with our staff and some of our friends, 30 people moved 21,000 parts boxes in 2.5 days. Everybody took the Monday Labor Day off, and we came back in Tuesday, and we started shipping parts in a new facility.
You know, these are wonderful success stories, and there's so many people that are moaning that they can't get good help and they can't get off the ground in big cities, and like you said, the big turnover and so on. In a place this size, when you get dedicated workers who can do a job like that, that's like practicing preseason and going and winning the championship. It's amazing.
It's great, and you've hit it right on the head. Our long-term success is our dedicated staff, and you know I'm happy to give them this building. Now, for the first time, we have a warehouse that's going to be heated in the wintertime. You know how much nicer it is to come in on a Monday and the temperature is 60, 65 degrees rather than 10 above zero? Because of the second floor and because of the insulation, we're able to have a much better facility and the efficiency that we can build in. Our business is like a lot of other businesses. Margins are constantly shrinking.
Oh, yeah.
So with a facility like this, and we just begin to touch the tip of the iceberg. Our computer system that we were able to bring in here and expand is a big part of the success. Our company is, we've just been contracted by a internet company that's called Ecom Parts, that we will be one of their primary suppliers, shipping orders that are coming to us via the internet. And so we're excited about that.
What a way to jump into the next century, huh?
I refer to this building as a building for the 21st century.
I love it. Any other special plans for the future that you want to share with our viewers today, Les?
Well, the Ecom Parts is a big part of it. The a secret of our success is the fact that we are based in Plattsburgh. Our marketing area,
You ought to
we
put
are.
that on a big banner out front.
We are. We don't deal with the travel problems that people have in major cities, just getting to work and getting home. We don't deal with the crime. We don't deal with so many other things. And in upstate New York, if you're willing to pay a fair wage and provide people a good working environment, you can still find good employees. And I think that's the secret.
He just wrote the primer, I think, right there.
Okay.
Les Miller, thanks so much for having us here today. I love what you do.
Thank you for coming. Come back again sometime. Come back.
We're at the Bright Beginnings Daycare Center on the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base, and what a beautiful, bright place it is with my friend Julie Berman. How are you?
I'm fine today. How are you?
That's terrific, and I am too. Calvin was reminding me that this program came here way back when the YMCA first took the place over. I don't know when that was. Were you here then?
No, I wasn't, but we're in our third year.
That's hard to believe, Julie.
Yes, it is.
You know, when we walked in here, Dennis said, there is not another facility like this in northern New York. This is a very special place, and I want our viewers to know all about it before we finish. Tell us a little bit about what it does. I like your new sign, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's beautiful. Well, we're a very secure facility. We have monitors in all the rooms. We're a locked facility. I have to buzz to push a button to let anybody in. We have very good programs going on at each age level. We take children from 6 weeks to 4 years old, and we have age-appropriate playgrounds attached to every room. All they have to do is go out their back door, and they're in their playground.
Wow.
It's a wonderful facility.
You know, one of the biggest challenges for young parents or older parents and grandparents, which seem to have the responsibility for a lot of little kids these days around our country, is daycare. Decent daycare where you know you have licensed providers, you know your child is going to be safe and maybe even learn something in the process of each day. You're satisfying all those qualifications.
Yes, we're trying to. We're trying to. We also have a gym and swim program for the 3 and 4-year-olds. The gym teacher comes here, and the 3 and 4-year-olds go on the bus to the YMCA to take swimming lessons. That's where they are this morning, so you won't see them.
Oh, little kids are coming, and I could hear them saying their ABCs, and I was singing along with them to make sure I got them right. Oh, aren't they beautiful? How many kids here every day?
Approximately 50.
Do you really?
Yes.
And
Yes.
your enrollment is always open, or are you pretty
we
filled?
we still have room for some age levels. Some age levels have waiting
Oh,
lists.
aren't they beautiful? My heart melts every time I see little kids, especially little kids who are well taken care of.
Yes, those children are going into our gross motor room. It's like an indoor playground. We use
Oh, I could hear the
Yeah.
wheels turning already. Boy, they couldn't wait to get there.
Yes, they love it in there.
Oh, isn't that great? And who did all the murals on the wall, Julie?
Those were here, I believe.
were here
yes.
before?
Yes.
What was this building?
It was the child care center for the Air Force Base.
You know, that's the beautiful part of
Right.
taking over a facility like this, except for the last place, which was turned from a bowling alley into a parts distributorship. When you can go into a place like this that was used for that purpose
Right.
and not make an awful lot of changes, although I bet you had to make some.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure a lot of painting had to be done, but we did get to use all of their equipment, which has been just wonderful.
It had to be great. Now, give me the structure of the organization. Do you have a board that works here? Do you have a regular...
Well, we're under the YMCA, so the YMCA has a board of directors. It's a corporation with a board of directors. We have the child care centers. We have ours here. We have one at the YMCA, and they just opened one at Trudeau Institute in Saranac
I
Lake.
didn't know that.
Yes, so there's an executive director who takes care of those, all three, and then I'm the on-site director here. Each site has its own director.
So how did you make that transition? You've done so many things in your exciting life, Julie.
Oh, well, I was a family daycare provider for 9 years, so that qualified me for this position.
It's got to be a challenge every single day.
Yes, every day is different.
No, let's say that we do inspire some families who are looking for good daycare to contact you. How do they go about it?
Okay,
Finding out more.
Okay, the best thing to do is to call me here at 562-1174, and we will set up a tour so the family can see the daycare center, and hopefully we won't have a waiting list for what they're looking for, and if we do, though, we'll put them on our waiting list and go from there.
What would the maximum be? Maximum number of people that you'd like to be able to work with here?
Well, we're licensed for 99 children.
Are you really?
Yes,
Where do those
but
figures come up with?
I
Yeah,
don't
we'll take 99.
But that would mean we would have to give up our gross motor room and change it into a classroom, so I don't think we would ever do that. So, but we do have maybe like 10 spots altogether left, but please call us, and we would love to show you our facility.
We'd love to look around a little more. Can we do that?
Yes, we can.
Oh, Julie, where are we now? These kids are beautiful.
We're in our infant room right now. We can take 8 children in this room. We have 3 teachers most of the time. Right now, we only have 2 children up. The rest are sleeping. Each child has its own crib. And over here, each child has its own cubby.
Let's move a little further so Calvin can get the camera over here.
Okay.
Oh, little cubbies. I see him. Okay.
And we have this beautiful kitchen area that connects us with the next stage level. So they can kind of help each other out, work together.
And as Calvin said, when they came in here with the late Bob Venn to film, there were piles and piles of toys left over. It's nice when you can walk into an almost ready-made situation. isn't it?
It's wonderful. I think that makes us really special in Plattsburgh.
This is a much larger building than it looks like outside. There's so much going on here.
Yes, there is.
I imagine when you take tours, when you bring parents in here, who might be your prospective customers, they're kind of blown away by what
they're
they see,
amazed.
right?
They're amazed. We're the best facility in Plattsburgh, in my opinion.
Well, you know, it appears that way in looking the place over just as the short time we've been in here. And Dennis said it's got to be one of the best. And you've got television monitors and all the
Yes,
areas.
we do. We have monitors in all the classrooms, so I can see what's going on in a classroom. Or it's also useful if a parent is leaving a crying child, say on the first day when they have to leave them here, they can watch the monitor and reassure themselves that the child is just fine.
That's really decent. What are you going to show us next?
Okay, let's go over to the Waddler room. That's 12 to 18 months.
All right, let's do it. Shall we begin again? All right, now we're in the Waddler room.
Yes, we can.
Well, maybe I should get down and
Yeah.
duck walk in here. All right, tell me about it.
This is the 12 to 18 months children, and we can have 8 children in here again. Right now, we only have 5 enrolled, so there is room in this classroom for more children. They do a variety of activities. I believe they are sponge painting today, if you want to walk over and
Oh,
see what
yeah,
they're
let's
doing.
just take a look. Watch your step over here. Calvin can walk and talk with a camera on his shoulder. He's had lots of practice. Oh, it's beautiful.
They're painting. They've got their little shirts on to protect their clothing.
A little Myrtle Beach T-shirt over
That's
here.
right. And he's painting with a sponge.
No,
Is
let's not talk about it.
Isn't that beautiful?
We try to keep them from eating the paint.
Now, how about staff? How big a staff did you say?
We have approximately 20 people, 20 employees.
And are you in charge of the hiring?
Yes, I am. Well, and my supervisor. We hire together.
Considering all that you've told me about the place and how you promote it as being very secure and how that gets interactive with the kids, obviously this is just terrific. You have to be pretty selective, don't you?
Yes, we
Whom
do.
you hire.
Yes, we have to be very selective. They go through a screening process, both with the local law enforcement agencies. There's a form they have to fill out, and we send their name to the police departments, and also through the central screening process in Albany.
All under the auspices of the YMCA.
Yes, and the Department of Social Services also helps us a lot.
Julie, at this stage in your life, not that I would ever suggest that you're of any advanced age, you're just such a young thing compared to me, but at this stage in your life, it's got to please you to be doing this kind of work.
Yes, it's very rewarding. It is. I love interacting with the children and their families. Getting to know all the families has really been the best part of this job.
And you've had a little experience parenting, so
Yes,
you're ready
I
to
have.
deal with most of the crises that
Well.
might develop in a place like this.
Yeah, I try. We also have special needs children here.
Oh, you do?
Yes, we do. We have some therapists that come in and work with children during the day, and that is set up. Their parents set that up. We don't set that up, but we're very open to having therapists come in and work with a child one-on-one.
Gee, that's great. Anything else for us to see?
Yes, if you want to go see some other classrooms.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I love the sounds of happy kids. This
Yes.
is the big room, as you call
Yes,
it. huh?
the big room. This is our indoor playground, the gross motor skills room. It's also the room when we have social events for the parents. We all get together in this room. Right now we have our 2 toddler classes in here playing.
They're beautiful.
They're having a very good time.
I'd love to climb over there, but I don't think those holes are big enough to accommodate this rather corpulent body, so I'll just have to watch the kids today. This is really decent.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Now, how are you funded? Is there a certain seed money that comes from the YMCA and you charge each parent, or how does that work?
We do. We're under the auspices of the YMCA, which is a United Way agency, a not-for-profit organization, and we do charge each parent tuition.
And that's how it works. Look at, oh boy, aren't they beautiful? Just the most beautiful kids. These are varying ages in here, right?
Yes, we have 24 months up, 18 months actually as I look around. 18 months up to older 2-year-olds. Once they hit 3 years old, they move on to the preschool 1 classroom.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, I think we got time to look at the cafeteria.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. All right, we're in the kitchen. I tell you, I always have to get close to where the food is. You know me. This is nice.
Yes, we serve breakfast, lunch, and afternoon snack, and that's included in the tuition. And we're on the CACFP program, which is a government program, so all our menus have to be approved. And it's a rotating menu every 4 weeks. And today we're serving macaroni and cheese.
Oh, gosh, and I'm sorry we have to get out of here. Dennis gave the high sign that we have to go, but Julie, thanks so much for allowing us into a little slice of your life. I like it here.
Yes, it's a wonderful place. It is really bright, as the name indicates, and I think the children are very, very happy here.
We'll come back to see you sometime.
Okay, I hope you do.
Thank you. We're looking at some of the base housing from the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base. It's part of what we're calling a Select Property Group Incorporated out of, Vancouver, British Columbia, and St. Petersburg, Florida, Canadian-American real estate developer. In essence, they're going to rehabilitate and sell about 300 of these abandoned housing units on what was formerly and will be, I guess, forever known as the new base. And later on, we're going to talk with the PARC CEO, Dan Winnicky, about this project. But I think a couple of points need to be made while we're standing here, Dennis. Number one, the grounds. Look at these buildings, which haven't had anything happen to them in a long time. You remember, our viewers may know that much of this new base was connected with above-ground central steam heat, and that was shut off when the base closed.
Well, the heating plant was shut down about a year and a half ago, Gordy. I may be off on that a little bit, but PARC could not afford to continue to heat the entire campus. So when Select Group comes in here and starts its rehab process, one of the main focuses will be to install independent heating systems in all these units. And we expect them to be in here. Well, Dan can speak to that, but I believe that they're looking at possibly putting some of these units on the market as early as next spring, late next spring.
And then we'll kind of see what impact it has on the community and just go a little bit at a time to make sure it works out okay.
Yes, they'll be taking, they'll be working, their project will be 100 units at a time, as I understand it. And if there is no adverse impact on the local housing market, they'll continue to rehab and market outside the area. The addition, another 100 until they have 300 units sold. It will be great to see these units occupied and with citizens coming in from outside the area, contributing to the economy, paying taxes. Of course, the Air Force never paid taxes. This will create some badly needed revenue for the community.
And it's pretty decent, as you and I have mentioned before we started the camera, that there is very little vandalism on Plattsburgh Air Force Base. And what you said, I want you to say again, because it's very important, the reason for that.
Can I knock on wood first?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a credit to the community. That
It really is a credit to this community and to the people who are in charge of security here.
Absolutely. We've had minimal damage from vandalism or what can be interpreted as vandalism. In some cases, if a window is broken, it could have been a bird flying into it. We don't even know if it's vandalism. But the property is, the community has really respected the property, and our hat's off to them.
You know, we've even talked about getting a Plattsburgh State Police Station out here at some point.
Yes, that's in the works. That will happen on the western edge of the campus on the far side of the runway, and we're expecting that to happen relatively soon.
Well, it's very interesting and educational for Calvin and myself and the rest of the people in the North Country through the eyes of the hometown cable camera to see the way things are progressing here in Plattsburgh, the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base. So far today, we like what we see.
Well, it's fun to be part of this. It really is.
It really is.
It really is. I've invested more than 30 years of my life in this community, and I came here in 1968 not expecting to stay, but I never regretted a minute.
None of us did, and look here. You know, the roots are down so far deep now we could never pull them up.
That's for sure.
Well, it's great to be here, and we're going to continue our tour of the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base under the umbrella of PARC in just a moment. We're on the shores of beautiful Lake Champlain, although it's a little bit chilly today, with Margot Zeglis at the Lake Forest Senior Community. Wow, look at this place.
Thank you, Gordy.
Who would ever have dreamed when we put together that first commercial in my living room that we'd be standing here on the 12th day of November, this close to completion?
Absolutely, aren't we thrilled? And the duplexes are nearing completion, and the congregate facility is going to be opening on December 1st. We have folks who are already lined up to move in, and we're not opening soon enough for them.
Let's talk a little bit about the concept, how it started and what you hope to achieve.
Well, this is a new concept for us in the North Country, and this is retirement living for seniors 62 years of age and older, with both the independent living offered in the duplexes and in the apartments. We're offering full services such as housekeeping, laundry, meal, transportation, and many other services that make living in your retirement years a lot more fun. It's nice to have dinner with friends.
Isn't it really? You know,
Yes.
when we first talked about this, we saw some photographs and a video that was taken up where, Louville?
Yes, and Watertown.
In Watertown. Those were the first of their kind?
Absolutely, and those folks have helped us tremendously with a lot of our thoughts and directions here, and it's nice to have folks help you so you don't have to completely reinvent the wheel.
How did you get involved with this project? You've done so many things in your lifetime.
Oh, Gordy, you know I've been involved in healthcare and working with seniors for many years. Just as you've been part of this community for many years, it's always been a dream of mine to see this level of housing brought to the North Country. I think we have many, many people in our community who brought tremendous resources to us, and I hated seeing them leave our community because we didn't have the housing option for them. And this offers middle-income seniors another option, and we're bringing people back from New Jersey and from all over the country who are glad to hear us that we're open, even somebody moving back from Vermont.
Every time I talk to you, give me a progress report on how well you're doing. How well are you doing in terms of filling up this facility?
Well, we are doing very well, far beyond our expectations. With the 44 apartments and the 6 duplexes, we've probably sold about half or more than half of those. People will start moving in, as I said, in December 1. We will probably have about 10 to 12 folks moving in the month of December, and then some are coming back from Florida, as you might guess, and so they will start coming back over until spring. But our duplex folks are all waiting to move in. In fact, we have one family whose house sold so quickly with their furniture in it that they had to rent an apartment and
Oh my goodness, they were ready to move, huh?
Yes, and they come by every day to see how their duplex is coming along.
Well, this is really great. It's cold outside. We're going to get inside and look
Great.
around, okay?
Let's go to the model apartment.
Let's do it. We're going to be going out inside this building in just a few moments and look at one of the model apartments. Just to give you an idea of the proximity here, we are on the what was known as the old base, Plattsburgh Air Force Base, not far from the base cemetery with a lot of wonderful historic gravestones marking the final resting place of people who fought in wars all the way back to the War of 1812. In the distance, you see the backside of the old stone barracks, and a very few years, if Assemblyman Chris Ortloff and many other people who love the history and the history of the Battle of Plattsburgh and all the military history this area has been involved in over the years, you'll see a great deal more activity as this becomes what we hope will be a tourism focal point for the entire United States as we pay tribute to all those people who fought in all those wars. Inside, though, the senior facility will be opening up very soon, and I think you will be amazed at the progress they've made. So let's step inside. You know, our little corner program has been connected with a lot of works in progress, and it's a pleasure for us to see things through from the germ of an idea to the ultimate conclusion. And we're midway at Lake Forest today. What building are we in?
We're in the congregate facility. This is the housing of the apartments, our large formal dining room, the library, activity room, exercise rooms, and of course guest rooms for all the people who decide to make Lake Forest their home.
When we talk about congregate living, that word has a very important meaning here because it's where people can be together, those people with greater needs, right?
Absolutely, but not everybody has greater needs than just being able to commune with friends and neighbors and have dinner with somebody. It's certainly nice, of course, to have somebody do your housekeeping for you.
That too.
And somebody else wash the dishes for you. And we will have a full kitchen. We'll be serving 3 meals a day, if that's what your choice is. And we'll be welcoming families and guests here in the month of December.
You know, it's really great to come here now while the work is being done, and then we'll come back later when it's finished. And this is something that I wanted to do with you here all along, so it's a great pleasure for us to be here today. Nothing has been spared. This is going to be a beautiful facility.
Thank you very much. We're very excited, and so are the people who have chosen Lake Forest. They've already come to visit their apartments, and as I said, we have a model apartment that I'm looking forward to showing both of you.
All right, what have we got over here in this side room, for example?
The library.
All right,
And
let's
our-
walk in as we talk.
And you know, our local library system is going to be giving us a rotating collection of books in here. This will also have a large dinner table. If families want to have Christmas or birthday parties, they can have private parties in here, and a nice place to read and have a quiet area to sit in. We'll have bookcases and sitting areas and many wonderful hours of a new lifestyle.
No,
a
this
new beginning.
location is absolutely perfect. You know, I'm sure that the people who began this organization, started this concept some time ago, looked around before they found a place, but wow, how many of us have said, I wish I could have a place on the lake? I mean, this proximity, as I mentioned before, to everything, to downtown Plattsburgh, to the Northway, to shopping, to the lake itself with that absolutely incredible view.
I think you're right, but I hear more often how many of us would like to have somebody else mow our lawn
Well,
for
that
us.
too. All those are considerations.
Yes. And of course, the shoveling, too. We don't have to worry about that. Somebody else will take care of those little things for us.
What kind, besides those local television commercials that I was pleased to be involved in, what other kinds of marketing do you do?
Well, certainly word of mouth is always very important. We've been working with our local media and meeting with people one-on-one. This is a very private decision, and it's something that takes a person a while to decide if this is the time for them and if we have all the amenities that they're looking for. And we certainly hope to have all the amenities people are looking for. But it's a private decision. So, Gordy, I like spending time with the people individually to work with them and their families.
You're the perfect person to do it.
Thank you.
All right. Boy, this is a beautiful, bright space. What is this?
This is sunshine off the lake. This is what we call our activity room, and we'll have a large screen TV, lots of tables for programs, exercise classes, people who enjoy card games, and we certainly hope we'll have folks from the community coming out to get involved with some of our activities. We will have a person who's planning activities, not only trips outside the facility, but activities here on a regular basis to meet the desires of the folks who live here.
You told me there would be about 16 people working here?
In total, when we're full, not all would be full-time, but we need people from grounds to administrative staff, to housekeepers, to folks who help us serve our dinners, and of course, a wonderful cook who will bring us the kinds of foods that Mom used to make.
Oh, she's doing it to me again. She knows. That's great. It's going to be a wonderful facility. And what can we look at next?
Oh, the greenhouse, and
The
this is
greenhouse.
a real
right.
addition by the Board of Directors. You know, Gordy, this is overseen by a local Board of Directors that organized as a not-for-profit in order to bring this type of housing to the North Country.
And a prestigious group of people, too. A lot of good minds and people who've been involved as part of the fabric of this North Country for a long time. That's a very good group you have
Yes,
there.
it's true, and they really care about what they do, and they've been working very hard this past 2 years. This is our greenhouse, and these are some of the things that won't be in the greenhouse when it opens. We will have a working greenhouse, but we have folks who are moving here who are painters also, who will enjoy being able to set up their easels here. And of course, this will make a nice four-season room for enjoying the views outside while we're warm and toasty, or cool inside because we're also air-conditioned.
Now, is the architecture here different from the other one up in Watertown, or is it pretty close?
Well, I'd say we're close, but we've added some special touches
Okay.
here that, yes, we think are very important to those of us who choose this area to live in.
Nice of you to bring Lake Champlain very close to the facility as part of the plan. All right, what next?
Well, we'll also have an office for a visiting nurse
great.
to add support to our residents here, should they choose to care for those services. So we will have all different facets. And I think the most important thing is that the residents will be speaking clearly about how they wish to see things move in their new community.
That's great. All right. This is amazing. We are inside what would be a finished apartment.
Absolutely. This is a 2-bedroom. And as I was telling you, the community involvement and support has just been terrific for us. And our local Criff furniture store has graciously loaned us the furniture for a model apartment.
When people come in here, they would bring their own furniture.
Yes, they would. Just bring your home with you and set it up as you like.
Okay, now the planning here is awesome because it's everything is just as neat as it can be. The space is bright and open, a large window looking out toward Route 9.
Yes.
Depends
on where you have your apartment. Some
That's
look
true.
out on the lake.
That's great too. That's talk about a bonus, huh? I don't know if the light goes on in the kitchen here, but I just wanted to, oh, of course it does. Calvin will sneak over here and take a look into this kitchen area. Boy, who wouldn't like all that cabinet space in there? Look at this.
Isn't it nice? Now, you might notice there aren't any appliances. Many people moving to Lake Forest don't want to ever cook a meal again, but we will have the appliances in soon. And most people do come down to join us for meals and bring their family, friends, and their bridge clubs and other relatives or acquaintances to share the meals with them, but many still like being able to cook in their own kitchen as well.
Everything is so neat and convenient. Let's walk and talk as we go down the hallway and look at the rest of this facility.
We're coming up on the first of the 2 bedrooms. Most people use the smaller of the bedrooms as a den or a guest room with a roll-out sofa or a small bed. We have lots of closet space here, and every apartment is individually controlled heat and air conditioning.
Oh, that's nice too. Yeah. Isn't this neat? So that's the second bedroom, or
And here we are coming, Criff hasn't quite finished this room yet, but this would be the larger of the bedrooms, and as you see, it has a queen-size bed.
this is beautiful. Once again, large windows to the outside. That's so great.
Large closets, walk-in closets.
Are most of the apartments in the congregate living portion this size, or do you have 1 and 2 bedroom?
We have 1 and 2 bedrooms. I'll be glad to show you a 1-bedroom. And our bathrooms are an important feature here because being able to fully access your bathroom, and we have no steps at Lake Forest, only a small step into a shower that has a seat. So safety is an important component of offering living at Lake Forest. And again, a nice closet in here also. And did you know we allow pets at Lake Forest?
No, I didn't. I didn't have a clue. No kidding.
Absolutely. Our 4-legged friends have been good companions for us all along and will continue to be here at Lake Forest.
See, this is great. Does that pretty much do it for this apartment? Then we can go and see a single bedroom.
Thank you. Let's
All right,
go.
Let's do it. And we're inside a 1-bedroom apartment without the furniture yet, but it'll be coming in.
That's
right?
arriving next week, just like the residents will be arriving in December.
It's, the layout is a little bit different from the 2-bedroom. We have still a very cozy little kitchen area right here.
Yes, and it's wonderful how people bring in and decorate their apartments. 1-bedrooms do have a smaller kitchen, but again, we've talked about the fact that we provide meals here, and quite often people don't like doing their meals. Part of the benefit of living and choosing your home to be at the Lake Forest community is being part of a community, within a community. How nice it is to look forward to a dinner with friends or having someplace to bring your friends in and having someone else cook for you and you still get to choose from the menu.
And Margot, what happens if you want to expand? What happens if you fill this place up? Is there any other possibility of expanding?
Well, as we did go through the planning process with the city of Plattsburgh, they too asked that question, and we're hoping that someday we would be at that point where we could even add other levels of care here. And you know this board well, Gordy, and you know they will be attentive to the needs and the desires of the people of the community and the people who live here at Lake Forest.
Does it make you feel good to be part of a project like this?
Very much so. I'm very proud to be a part of it and to work with such a wonderful group of people as this board of directors has been.
I love it so far. Is there anything else we should see?
Well, you haven't really looked out the back from the through the dining room unless we got those pictures earlier while you guys were roaming around.
Well, yeah, let's go take a look at it. All right, let's do it. When the commercials said Lake Forest Senior Living on beautiful Lake Champlain, they weren't kidding, were they, Margot?
Well, now we are out on our patio, and we are looking across beautiful Lake Champlain into the Vermont mountains, and yes, it is beautiful, very beautiful here.
Have you got some people signed up who've never visited the Plattsburgh area before, who are coming here for the first time?
Well, there have been family members who are coming to join their children, but I have a sense most of them have seen Plattsburgh before and fallen in love with it just like we have.
Well, how can you help it? And to spend the last third of your life at a beautiful facility like this where you can get out and commune with nature, as we say, that's about as good as it gets.
Don't you think this would be a nice place to have an Adirondack rocker and sit back and have somebody bring you an iced tea?
There are about 16 of them set right up all the way down through here.
Yes.
We do live in a beautiful part of the country.
Yes, we
Through
do.
most of our Cook's tour with Dennis and the people on the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base through PARC today, we've learned that this facility is just growing by leaps and bounds. More businesses are coming in. More attention is being paid to the area. We've watched your organization grow here since the very beginning, since the first shovelful and before that, and we really do like what we see, Margot,
you.
and it's all your fault.
Oh, okay, thank you. I wish I could say it was entirely so, but there have been many wonderful people who have made this dream possible.
And for people who are watching this who may be interested in getting involved with this organization and maybe spending some time here, they could just call you?
Absolutely. Our number, Gordy, is 561-6431, and we'd be glad to give an individual tour to anybody who calls.
Margot, thanks again for inviting us to Lake Forest.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to visit with you.
Child Care Coordinating Council and Family Connections, and my buddy, Meg Albury. How are you?
Very good, Gordy. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. I was trying to remember as we walked in here the first time I ever heard about the Child Care Coordinating Council, and I believe it was a long time ago when you were in the old mall, maybe down, was it by Ward's?
Absolutely. May 1st, 1995, we cut the ribbon to the first family resource center that the North Country has ever had.
Isn't that amazing? And I had no idea what the concept was all about, but I've gotten a liberal education since then, and you and I have become fast friends, and you've been connected with it right from the beginning.
I have, Gordy. This is a new concept to the North Country, to New York State, as a matter of fact. And at first, it was a little hard getting the community to understand really what we were all about. But as you can see by the attendance we have today, we're seeing 750 a month come and go from this center each month, gaining support and encouragement in their role as parents and caregivers.
Tell me a little bit about the whole idea with Family Connections and the Child Care Coordinating Council. What's it all about?
Well, the Child Care Council is a 10-year-old agency, and that was begun by some people in the community who saw that there was a need for quality child care as well as quantity child care to meet the needs of, local families wanting to, work. And through the course of time, while those issues were being addressed, a young mom with 2 small children came to Jamie Basilier, our director yet to this day, and said, I really want to help create a place for young families to go where children can have other kids to play with and parents can make new friends. And Jamie took her plea quite seriously, and lo and behold, a grant opportunity came across Jamie's desk, and together they applied for the funds. And today our enthusiastic group of families and our community agencies are all working hand in hand to really address a lot of the issues that Yvette and her 2 children felt 5 years ago, to really help a multitude of families throughout the North Country.
And every once in a while, we get a telephone call saying, Gordy, we got to move. I don't know where we're going to go next. And there was a lot of panic in the early days trying to find a permanent home, wasn't there?
There was, but families are changing every day, and we like to think that Family Connections is changing every day as well to keep up with the families, and sometimes life just isn't that peachy, it's just always changing, and we've just faced some challenges ourselves, and we've overcome them. We've gone from the old mall to the new mall. Toys R Us came in, displaced us. Thanks to the PARC agency, they were very gracious in letting us take up space here. We've been here 3 years now. We've grown by leaps and bounds. And our vision for the future is that we actually secure a facility of our own that would address not only the needs of younger children and new parents, but straight through from birth to senior citizen and on. There's a lot in the news right now with the teen issues. We have a teen program as well. We know from the teens that participate in our program that they want a place they can call their own. They want to be part of the community, and we're hoping to be part of that whole program as well.
Meg is a mover and shaker, and she's been involved in so many things. I couldn't begin to list all the project, but we've had some fun times during fun days on this old base oval, haven't we?
We have. It started with our Dr. Seuss Festival, our first fun fest to try to help us raise money to continue the programs that we offer, and it's just gone on for the 3 years that we've been here. We now work with Plattsburgh State University on that project, together with the students of the college, with the parents and staff and volunteers of the Child Care Council and Family Connections. We put on that fun day once a year now at the field house.
It's a lot of hard work, takes a lot of volunteer effort. Everybody running around like crazy, but it's worth it because it's really paid off.
Right. Well, we're out and about throughout the whole county doing programs. We often have our programs on the road, and the Fun Fest is just one other way that we really do outreach to families to let them know really what we're all about, how we can help them in their day-to-day struggles. As I said, being the best parent that they possibly can be, because it is challenging bringing kids up in this day and age, and the times are changing, and the new millennium is going to bring some new challenges to us, and we just really feel very good about being here for families, that they can learn from each other, they can connect to their community by coming here and playing or being part of one program. The entire world is opening up to them, and every day I hear families who tell me that they're so grateful to have a place like this, and some we lose, they move to other areas of the country as well as the state, and one of their first questions before leaving is, where can I go where I'm going to have a place like this? And it's sad, but there isn't a place like this everywhere, and that's why it's so important and so wonderful that our community has it.
If you don't have any idea of what they do here at Family Connections, look at the calendar. You produce a calendar, once a month? Or?
We do a calendar every 2 months called Family Concoctions. It's really recipes for happy, healthy family life by participating in a variety of play groups and creative arts experiences, by attending Kids Club at the mall or our car seat safety workshop, whether you're a child care provider and wanting training on how to run a good sound child care business in your home, to supervised visitation services and our teen program. Our latest is a Parents Anonymous program. We were chosen by New York State to be one application for New York State to create a family program called Parents Anonymous. We We're awarded $50,000 to do that. We've just begun it. It's very exciting. So this is a program that provides some respite, some free child care, while parents really have a couple hours of uninterrupted, good conversation to make friends, to talk about what's going on at home, and to really, once again, connect.
Connection is the whole idea. That's why we call it Family Connections. It's terrific. And every day it's a challenge for you, but every day you go home and say, we touched a few more lives today.
We certainly do, every day, with the phone calls, the people that visit here. We need to get back to basics when it comes to bringing children up. And, everybody has some obstacles that they need to overcome. It doesn't matter who you are, what your age is, how much money you make, or where you come from. If you have children in your lives, you need resources and support, and we try to do that in a friendly, nurturing, non-threatening place that we call Family Connections.
I've always made a point to stay closely connected with you in this organization because I like the idea from the beginning. And any time that Mega said, Gordy, can you come and read to us, or can we do this, or can you help out, I've always says yes, because it's just a great place to do. How about you? Let's talk about your beautiful kids. I've read to them a few times, too.
Well, I tell people when I'm meeting with families that I probably gain the most out of being part of Family Connections because I also have children. Ben, 7, Katie, 10.
Oh,
and,
not 10. She's 10?
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Goodness, hard to believe.
Growing up, we're beginning to enter into those preteen years. I see it every day.
Good luck with that. Meg lives right in Morrisonville, not more than half a mile as the crow flies from my house. And you have a wonderful home, and your connection here has been great. Where's Jamie these days?
Jamie just zipped by us.
She did?
She's preparing to attend a meeting where we're going to be addressing the possible creation of a family resource center in Essex County.
No kidding.
Now, we already have one in Franklin County that we consider our sister program. It's called Families Are Us. It's in Malone, in the basement of the Wesleyan Church. And they are also participating in the Parents Anonymous program and our Relatives as Parents program, which is another one I didn't mention earlier, to give support to those people who are once again raising yet another family. So we're talking about having an Essex County Family Resource Center so we can approach this new family concept in a regional way. And New York State, all their family resource centers are pulling together to form a coalition that will provide us really with the means to apply for some larger federal monies so that we can continue and improve upon what we started 5 years ago with one very spirited and enthusiastic mom who really started a whole wonderful new program for family.
It's amazing. You've done a lot of things in your life. When I first met you and your husband, you were running a bed and breakfast at the old Bosworth Tavern south of Keysville, which was deliciously haunted, and I even wrote a story about it later on. But wow, it's been quite an interesting road since that time.
Well,
hasn't it?
that, and I was working with the Senior Citizens
of
Council,
course.
creating all kinds of new housing and senior centers for them. And, I've gone from working with the disabled to senior citizens, stayed home with my children for some years, so I feel that I understand those concerns as well, that I hear day to day here by moms and dads that attend the center. And, now I'm working on behalf of the full gamut, all the ages.
Something we haven't mentioned here, and I want to before we leave, and that is supervised visitation. Can you explain what that is?
Well, we provide a program in which people who have been mandated by the courts to have some time with their children under direct supervision are able to actually learn through play with their children how to nurture relationships, how to build upon the trust that may have been lost through unfortunate circumstances. We try to bring the custodial parent together with the non-custodial parent to really look at what is it that we want to be working on that's going to benefit the child? In other words, put aside what's happened between them as a couple and focus on what's best for the child's development and future. And it's a challenging task, but we're seeing wonderful results with moms and dads that come and have time with their children. We're doing about 50 children a month here. And,
It's amazing. As most of our viewers know, I work as a victims advocate in the probation department, and so we have contact through our organization and many others with the supervised visitation. I came out here to get my training and how to put child safety seats in my vehicle when I have to transport my little clients around the neighborhood. So I guess I was destined to be connected with this place from the very beginning. But we like what you do.
thank you very much.
And if people want to make contact with you, how do they go about that?
Well, they can visit us at our center, which is at 426 U.S. Oval on the old Air Force Base.
Easy to find.
It is. Or they can give us a ring at 561-4999. And we do have a toll-free number, 1-800-540-2273.
Wonderful. Meg Aubrey, thanks for inviting us in for this brief moment today.
Thank you
Have
very
yourself
much.
a delightful weekend.
Thanks, you too.
Hug those kids for me, too, will you?
I will.
Well, we took a little tour around today, and I say a little tour because there's so much more to see, so much exciting news which happens minute by minute. We'd have to start our own television station and station Calvin here in a corner somewhere to be up to date on the news. It's amazing how fast things are happening here on the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base, and a lot of it has to do with solid leadership from this guy right over here, the CEO, the guy who runs the place, Dan Winnicky from PARC. How are you, Dan?
Good, Gordy. How are you? Did you enjoy your tour?
We loved our tour today, and we're not even finished, and we can't wait to come back.
Well, that's terrific. I think we're going to need to have you back here in a couple months to show you what's going on.
When I said things are happening minute by minute, we're recording this program on the 12th day of November, the day after Veterans Day, and just before we walk in here, the guy signs a deal, right?
That's right. The guy who just left this office, a very well-known local business person, Herb Carpenter, Northeast Printing, we inked the deal this morning for the wooden hobby shop and several acres of land around, and Herb is going for building permits and hoping to break ground yet this month to get the footings and foundation in for an expansion of Northeast Printing. And that's pretty exciting to finally start to work with local businesses like Northern Parts and North Star Staffing that are out here in buildings, developing, growing, and hiring more people.
Hiring more local people. We got a great workforce up here.
Yes, we do. That's one of the things we talk about when we go out on the road and people come in and they want to know. With our educational institutions, the job training, and the quality of the workforce here in Plattsburgh makes it pretty easy to get these people's attention when we get them here.
Pretty soon we're going to be coming back out here to do maybe a special program with one of your favorite tenants.
That's right. Well, they're all special. But one of the big one I think you're talking about is the Pratt Whitney deal.
Yeah.
And that that should be coming to fruition here in the next few months. People ask you, what's going on. Well, it's been a year in the making, okay, and I think with a company like United Technology and Pratt Whitney and all the different players involved between the legal department and the environmental people and the tax people and 4 outside attorneys reviewing the lease document and writes and rewrites. It takes a while, but I think we're getting down to the wire here. The main hangar, the one half of it is about ready for their airplane. The maintenance building will be ready within the next week and a half, 2 weeks for some of their office staff. And Doug Fage, the guy I deal with up there, is going to be back from Australia by next week, and we'll sit down and start to review the final documents now.
Just terrific. That alone has got to be exciting for you.
Well, that's pretty exciting. But Friday, not Friday. Today's Friday. Thursday, Wednesday.
Oh, I'm glad somebody else does this.
Wednesday was a pretty exciting day. We had Dana Rath, who's the corporate controller of Nexia here, with his farm manager and his environmental people, and they will be back next week. Nexia has now started its public offering on the company. So far, they've raised about $13.6 million and have obtained several contracts with the U.S. military and U.S. companies. And the board of directors last week at their meeting has given final approval for the Nexia people to start moving the envelope in Plattsburgh, New York. And so they're down, and they will complete now the final steps of their paperwork, and that's been a year also. So, they've got dribs and drabs of people coming, and now all of a sudden they start to, they'll start the real work will start.
Boy, the doors are really opening now. It's been a while coming. You have growing pains when you try to grow an organization like this. You have to deal with so many things in so many places, but I can really feel it happening now, and I know you can because you're right in it.
It's pretty exciting. We're getting a lot of good press. When people. Now when we travel to meetings and seminars on financing and development and opportunities that are set up and available in New York State for people to grow businesses in New York State, and you walk into the room and you say you're from PARC, and people say, "We've heard a lot about you. What are you guys doing up there? Can we come up and visit you? Can we?" We've got a couple organizations coming down from Canada who want to look at our marketing strategies and what we've done the last year. We've had some other people visit us from other closed military installations, as well as local industrial development agencies have been here to see what we're doing and how we're doing our marketing and what we're doing. But the real good news is that we've just added a director of marketing to our staff, which will help cut back on my travel time and my hours a little bit. Art Norton comes to us. He was with the Essex County IDA for a while, and most recently he was director of sales and marketing over at Camoplast, and he's just started this week, and that should bring a lot of new talent to the table, give us a better coverage, another person out there traveling around doing the shows. We went to a couple months ago, we went to a high-tech show up in Toronto, and it has turned into a lead on a company that has a manufacturing facility in Lebanon, and they distribute here in North America. They now are considering, and we're talking to them about 50,000 square foot building here at PARC to start a manufacturing branch here in the United States. So that looks pretty exciting. Another thing, you guys come back in a couple of weeks. We hopefully we'll have a groundbreaking ceremony because we're going to build our first new building. We've just gotten the final approval and the final plans.
Tell me about it.
We're going to break ground in the next week or two on a 75,000 square foot building at the corner of Idaho and Connecticut Avenue. We were going to make it into three 25,000 foot sections so we could have 3 tenants into it. But we've had one company step up to the plate and say we want 37.5. So now we're just going to have 2 tenants in the building. That's pretty exciting. And I think we will probably have the entire building rented out before the footings, the concrete and the footings dries. So.
Not a bad way to do business, Dan.
No, it's not. When we got here, the banks really weren't interested in talking to us very much. But Mike Bowden had some faith in what we were doing, and NBT Bank bellied up to the table for us, and they helped us, and we weathered some financial crunches. And today, we're returning the favor because this building is going to be built on PARC's other income, our rental income, and borrowed money from a local bank. And NBT was right there to help us do it and extend our lines and set us up. And it's when somebody has faith in you, it feels good to pay it back.
I love it. When we were making our tour this morning, we stopped and took some pictures of the housing units, which are going to be going on sale fairly soon. Let's talk a little bit about that project and what that's meant to you and PARC.
The project is really important to PARC. because, when you think about it, for all of the years, everybody was frightened that the houses would come on the market and destroy the local housing market and economy. But if you look around right now, it's pretty hard to find a contractor who's not busy. So there's a lot of new construction going on. And I think through our ad hoc committee of the involvement of the Plattsburgh Board of Realtors, property owners in the community, some banks, some people from the educational institutions, we came up with a methodology to get Select Group here, okay, to take over the 300 houses and put them on the market in a competitive sort of way so that it doesn't disrupt what the natural growth and development is going on. At the same time, it'll give us the funding to demolish the other KPAR housing, which is in dire needs of heating and furnishing and meters and windows and insulation, and the cost to rehab those houses just would throw the value of them right out the window. So when we start to demo them, we will have additional space, 700 acre plus for industrial development, which will now allow us more land to build new industrial buildings, okay? And that's just along the Sharon Avenue backside and New York Avenue side of the base. So we're really excited about that. The select people are working with the city because of the boundary changes. They only have to deal with one jurisdiction. We've cut a nice deal with the city on the utilities and the infrastructure. And the MOU and the contracts of that are being worked on as we sit here and talk. And that's going to, what a difference that'll make when we start to demo, a lot of that ugly old housing and get it out of the way. At the same time, and I don't think we've gotten too much press about this. We've just done a deal with the Development Corporation across town. We've signed an MOU and we're doing leases where they're doing a feasibility on the land and it should be moving forward. They're going to take a little over 100 acres off of Connecticut Avenue for their future industrial development. So yes, that's pretty exciting also because the industrial park across town at Air Industrial Park is full. They were looking at some apple orchards and some other things, and we've kind of collectively put our heads together, our two boards, and we've done a deal because we have sewer, water, and electric, and the infrastructure is here, and this is going to be an industrial park anyway. And we will now take our tenants to them and see if they're interested in building buildings for us. And if not, Park still has the option to build for tenants on their own locations. And hopefully that'll be hitting the ground running here in the next couple of weeks also.
And that's great. When I first started this program this morning, I said there were other closed installations that were looking at this place with envy, and you just said that they've been looking at this place with envy. Isn't it nice to know that you're closer to the cutting edge than the other guys are, that you're doing something right?
It is. We the staff that we've been able to put together here is just tremendous. All local guys with talent. Between Bruce, my vice president, and Mark, our controller, and Randall, our attorney, and our marketing people, and Kenny Hines, was here with the military in charge of aviation and tenant services, and he's talking, with the county and the county airport about how we can complement each other, and it's just, if you go around and you look at all the buildings being painted now, and the caretaker and Art Graves and what he does with his staff and people.
That's amazing. I'm glad you brought that up.
You go to a lot of other closed, we have people who visit us from other closed military bases, and they can't believe that this is a closed installation because, we just repainted every building. We took care of all the bad wood. We've they cut the grass. We've trimmed the trees up so that our guys can cut the grass on a regular basis. We're cutting more grass today than we were a year ago at less cost because of the way we're prepping and setting the place up. And that just goes to show you the kind of staff that we have in that caretaker group. As you come onto the base here, on the old base, our new sign, our new colors.
Isn't it great? Great new sign.
Yes, and people comment on it all the time. The union, the electrical workers taking a building, and if you, I don't know if you get an opportunity to get in that building, but what they've done in there, they've got it set up with their classrooms, and at night now, to see Clinton County Community College classes going on, and people going over to the gym, the Lakeside Fitness Center, and the electrical union and the contractors union over here holding classes, and people, gosh, it feels good.
Well, it felt good when we had the ribbon cutting for the new 911 facility to have important people from all over the state who looked in that building, and I would listen to people. I like to pay attention. And they were looking in those classrooms, and they look around and they say, wow, that's an amazing building, and boy, are they happy to be in there.
They sure are. Every time I see Jim King, he says thanks. He just thanks me all the time for making it happen for him and helping him get it done. And in their classroom and their little briefing room, they've got people coming in from all over. He said the biggest problem they have is, he said, when the firemen come in, they're used to being around the firehouse a lot, and they drink a lot of coffee, and he said, we're not going to be putting new carpeting and new seats in, so they're not allowed to bring their coffee into the meetings anymore. So it's great to have somebody, protecting the assets that way, and hopefully, they're going to end up, they are going to end up owning that building and the land, and talk about a real community plus, community service.
That's great. Dan, let's talk about ownership now. What's the timetable with the Air Force?
Well, we've just sent our EDC application to Washington last Friday. No, it was Friday. Monday, Chris, here we go again. Monday, the IDA approved it, and Monday afternoon, I had the signed document back from the IDA board and a corporate resolution. We prepare everything, but it goes to the Air Force from the IDA because PARC is not officially an instrumentality of the government. So the IDA is the conduit here. Went to Washington. They will review it, and then they will let us know if we have an acceptable application, which I feel we should hear probably by the end of the month. Then they will start to prepare the lease in furtherance of conveyance. Then what that allows us to do is parcel by parcel, as we clear the fossils and the faucets, the findings of suitability to lease and transfer title, we will take parcel by parcel title and ownership. And that's pretty important to PARC for our future growth and development, because we have 5 leases now on large parcels of land that say that once we can transfer title to the property, these people have 120 days to close the deal. So as we now can do that, that money will come in and give PARC additional funding to build more buildings and to do things. So we're going to go from a company that has little or no asset base, okay, to an operation that's going to have a tremendous asset base and book value and leveraging power on future construction and development.
That'll be a happy day for you.
Oh, it sure will. Mark upstairs does a great job, keeps us in line on our budgets, continuing our grants and our funding, and the further we go down the road, the more self-sufficient we start to become.
How long is PARC going to be here?
Oh, gee, I hope for a long time. I like it here.
I know you do. I just wondered if there, what's the big picture?
Well, I think we got to decide how we're going to do this. You really have the PBT, or the public benefit transfer, for the aviation assets. That future depends upon where the county legislatures want to go with us, okay? If the county airport, or if a large regional international airport is to happen, this is the place that it'll probably happen. So what happens at PARC, at that point, will determine if PARC has any participation in that, okay? In the marketing of it, in the building of it, in the continuation of the management and running of it. Or if we just move the county over, or another private organization comes in and takes over that function. Because in New York State, there's a big push to privatize public airports, okay? So that will determine, what and who PARC is. If the city comes in and takes over a large portion of the old base, or if they just take over the infrastructure, then PARC will be here to continue to market and look for tenants and develop some of these other buildings. The two large buildings, as an example, right behind us, we Sunday evening, a couple architects and engineers are coming to town, and they're going to be spending all next week here going through those buildings, okay, re-engineering, redesigning, and architecture and plans, and then they will go back to their board, and we will probably have an offer to lease with an option to purchase those buildings from a company. And then we have Building 104. We're currently talking to a large company out of Manhattan. So, our job could continue as a marketing company. Then the buildings that PARC owns will need to continue care, okay? And depending upon where the infrastructure go, who's going to cut the grass, who's going to plow the snow, who's going to take care of, planting the bushes and moving them and transplanting them and all those things. So I think PARC will probably remain as a property manager unless we, at some point in time, decide to pare down totally. The corporation itself could fold up and go away, and then contracts could be put out for people to perform those services.
But you're pretty happy where you are now.
Oh yeah, I like it here. This could be fun. I think it's going to take us a long time. If you look at how many 100,000 square foot buildings have been built in the North Country over the last 4 or 5 years, and you consider you have 1,000 acres plus of future buildable land without getting into any land on the aviation side or a terminal or hangars and everything else, 3 or 4 of those buildings a year, we could be here for a while.
That's pretty great. We all want to leave a mark, on this hunk of mud that we're placed on. We all want to leave a mark, some kind of a legacy. You have got to feel personally enriched right now to join this organization, and I know you don't claim full responsibility for what happens here every day, but in large measure it's due to your leadership, along the succession of people who've had your job since the very beginning, and that has to be personally one of those feel-good things for you.
Well, it sure is. When you look back over a year, the other night the county legislature this week had their meeting in our briefing room, which we've just redone, and we consolidated a lot of our assets and made a world-class briefing room for meetings. And I was sitting in the audience watching and listening to Don Garrett host the meeting and move it through the steps, and I was thinking of the evenings not too long ago when I was sitting in the old county courthouse, okay, and people were screaming and yelling at each other whether or not we should be an authority or whether we should use the IDA, and my board members were fighting with each other, and people were writing nasty letters, and golly, when you look at the PARC board and how they get along today and how they're working together and their guidance and direction and what they've brought to the table to make all this happen, and the support we're getting from the county legislatures and the town people and the city people and Senator Stafford's been there, boy, every step of the way. When I need help with a company and Chris Ortloff and we're involved with the Battle of Plattsburgh, and we have the new bateau and the old bateau over here now and a swimming pool.
That really gets us cranked up. We love the historical part of
exactly.
it.
Exactly. We're the National Cemetery and the historic things we're doing. It's just sometimes you sit and you think about it too long and give you goosebumps. And everybody's so cooperative and working together, and that's what it's taken. Moving it forward. And it's just everybody. My staff just works very, very hard. Denny does a great job, keeping keeping the public informed. We did our park updates, which have been out there. Gee, we saluted the effort on the Goodwill Games in order and what they're doing up in Lake Placid, because that's part of our marketing region. Last week we did a little thing saluting our orchards and our apple growers and the problems they're having, because those efforts are what kept this region and this part of the world alive and healthy and well during the time when the air base wasn't doing so well. So we need to support them, and we need to get that word out there, and we're using our efforts and our park update to be supportive of the region.
I think we ought to get those signs that say Team Plattsburgh back out again. I think you're making it work.
I tell you what, everybody's just pulling it in and getting it done, and we all got to have confidence in each other. You know, I know we're struggling, you know, with the school board and expansion of our board and everything. Yeah, we got to have confidence in what the school board does, and the school board has to have confidence in what the park board does, and if we all carry our weight, okay, collectively we're all going to win.
You know, last time I interviewed you, I said I thought we were on the threshold. Now I think we're ready to step into a brave new world here. This is great.
We're ready. We're poised and ready, and then, you know, with the fiber optics that we have here now, we've had more people looking at us, and Prime Link providing those services, you know, for our park and for our tenants, and the big switch, one of the most sophisticated fiber optic connecting switches is about to be tapped into the comm center here in the next couple of weeks, and they're just doing a great job for us. And when we're out talking to companies and we tell them about what we have, they're pretty excited.
Dan, I want to thank you, and you too, Dennis, for bringing us here today. He kept us on schedule all morning long. He just knew when to keep that mouth of mine from running. Say, we got to go. We got 2 minutes to go. We met a lot of nice people, but you know what? We haven't even begun to scratch the surface. I hope you'll invite us back again.
Oh, absolutely. You know, hopefully we'll have you back here in the next couple of months.
Great. Dan, thanks so much. Good luck. You're a good friend and a great asset to the North Country.
Thank you, Gordy. Enjoy your show, and best of luck. Get Kellen inside over there after, you know, all those football and soccer games now.
It's great. It's nice and toasty in here. I bet he's sweating with his big coat on behind that camera. And you, who knows?